Good morning this morning from sunny Florida. That's right. I am down here in the Sunshine State still. Got looks like I think 3 more days before we pack up and head back to uh, chilly Ohio. But I wanted to jump on here real quick and talk about something I've been thinking about the last couple days, and I want to kind of get your opinion on this as well. So, if you've been looking at mock drafts, the first Buckeye off the board in what's going to be a historical draft for the Buckeyes is Josh Simmons, aka Jimmy Simmons, however you want to call him. I guess he goes by Josh now. Um, Injured in the Oregon game, played 6 games this year, played incredibly well through those first 6 games, was probably the most improved offensive lineman from the previous year, in my opinion. And when he went down with an injury, we were all worried because you don't want to lose your left tackle because that's obviously a much valued position in the game of football. Hence why I believe he's the first Buckeye expected to be off the draft. But he did the Nick Bosa rehab training where he decided to go to get his surgery and then kind of leave the team and rehab somewhere else, as opposed to what Seth McLoughlin did when Seth was injured. And Seth got hurt. He stayed with the team throughout the remainder of the college football playoff run and was there to help kind of coach along um, the offensive linemen who were filling in. And so I kind of want to get your opinion. Do you like the Seth McLaughlin route here, or do you believe that Josh is justified in what he did, or maybe you believe both? Like you like the fact that Seth hung around, but you believe Josh did the right thing for himself. Um, Obviously, as a Buckeye fan, you know my opinion. I'm old school, guys. So this isn't going to surprise anybody here when I say this. But being an old school guy, uh, even if you get hurt, you ride and die with the team because it's kind of like an unwritten contract that you write when you're on a team. Like, I'm here through the good and the bad, whether that be as a team or whether that be personal. And so um I've always believed that when you're injured, you're just kind of rehabbing with the team, but you're there to offer the team support. You're there to offer them your encouragement and any knowledge you might have as a former starter. So that's kind of where I am. I lean heavy on the Seth McLaughlin side of this argument. However, I do understand where Josh is coming from, and in his interview um, during the Indianapolis not pro days, but whatever they're called. I just woke up a little bit ago. Excuse me for not being able to remember what they're called. But during those interviews, he mentioned how he was ahead of schedule, and so he feels that he made the right decision in going out to the West Coast, getting the surgery and rehabbing there, as opposed to staying in Ohio or even having the surgery out west, but then coming back to Ohio to rehab. So it's hard to fault a man when he obviously feels he did the right thing, and based off the mock draft, I kind of feel like he's justified in what he did and how he believes. Ohio State fans don't really necessarily hold that against Nick Bosa, um, but I can understand where some people might kind of feel jaded by that, maybe slighted a little bit. But here's the other thing I've been thinking about that I want to run by you guys too. Every mock draft I've seen has Josh going as the first Buckeye taken in this draft. Again, left tackle, hugely important position in building your offense in the NFL. I understand that. But are we sure he's better than Donovan Jackson? Let me give you reasons why I believe Donovan Jackson might be a better choice and have a longer career than Josh Simmons in the NFL. Number one, he is more versatile. You all saw it in the playoff run. moving from guard to left tackle, and then I think getting better as the season progressed, as the playoffs progressed at left tackle. So you're getting a guy who you can not only plug in at left guard and say, here's a 10-year pro at left guard, but this is a guy who in the middle of the game, you can kick him outside. He can play left tackle if you're in a pinch. And I think that versatility offers you a ton of value if you're a GM on in an NFL team. I just do. That's number one. Number two, you have the injury history. Do you believe Josh Simmons is going to be able to um, remain healthy throughout his NFL career? I mean, now that he's had that one injury, is he going to be more likely to have a second injury? Donovan Jackson, dude was there all the time, played all the time, incredibly versatile, incredibly tough. Um, so I think that's the other thing that you think you need to look at with Donovan. Now, it's not like Donovan's going super low in this draft. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. Most mocks have him going either at the end of the first or somewhere around the beginning, the middle of the second round. Um, as like either the second or third Buckeye taken in this draft. Emeka Egbuka seems to be the favorite to be the second Buckeye taken in the draft. But I digress. I think Donovan, obviously sitting right there, gives you the opportunity as a GM in the NFL to give yourself not one but kind of like one and a half players, if you think of it that way. Plus, and this is number three, Donovan came into college a much more highly ranked offensive lineman out of high school, more stars, if you will, higher ranking than what Josh did. Now, they both played a lot of football because Josh went the smaller college route at first before transferring to Ohio State, going out there to San Diego State, I believe it was, before coming over to Ohio State. But Donovan uh, played a ton of ball at a much higher level for a longer period of time. And so I think that experience and just, having that kind of um, dude status, being a more highly recruited guy, ranked guy, there's some value in that that you need to take into account. So that's my other reason why I might consider leaning more Donovan than I would Josh at this point if I was an NFL GM. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you guys all know that I have a huge problem with how NFL GMs think and how the recruiting and the scouting, if you will, in the NFL goes. I think these guys put they almost try to be the smartest guy in the room, and in doing so, they miss out on, I think, the obvious people who you should be thinking about drafting. So that being said, I just kind of wanted to throw these thoughts out to you guys this morning, see what you guys all thought about them, and have some discussion down in the comment section below. So, who do you think? Are you guys more Josh Simmons? He did the right thing, or would you like to see him maybe do what Seth did? Plus, are you like me? Do you think there's actually more value in Donovan Jackson than than Josh Simmons going into this NFL? I kind of lean more towards Donovan's going to have a much longer, successful career and offers more value if I was a GM. Now, as a Buckeye fan, please don't misconstrue what I'm talking about here this morning. As a Buckeye fan, I'm all for all three of these dudes. I'm for every single one of them and can't wait to cheer them on Sundays. But if you just kind of think about these perspectives and these questions, I'd love to get what your inputs are. Um, Happy Sunday, everybody. I don't have a Bible verse this morning. I'm kind of running late. I need to get things moved around and head on over to the Orlando Convention Center later this afternoon for our first big day here. We've been doing setup for the last couple days, and of course, so there's one full day of travel down here. Enjoyed the weather. It's been beautiful down here. It's been in the 70s. I think it got up to 80 the first day we were down here. Uh, Slight breeze yesterday. Went to Daytona Beach yesterday morning for the first time. Got to go check that out. Week before Bike Week, so I'm glad I got there before Bike Week. That would have been that would have been a disaster to kind of look into for myself in a car as opposed to everybody being on motorcycles. But I digress. Been great weather down here. Got a few more days. We'll be heading back the middle of this week and back in time, hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed, if all goes well, for our Thursday night call-in show. I'll try to drop another video or two for you guys while I'm down here as things kind of cross my mind and we think about them. And we'll continue to have a great discussion. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Remember, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio, with all your heart. Till next time, go Bucks.